I'll be honest with you, this is the first time I actually heard about this cartoon called Poorly Drawn Lines. This actually was sort of recommended me by one of my subscribers, telling me if I want to review this show. At first, I didn't want to because I don't like to do requests because I don't want to let down of the requestee. But I give it a chance because no one really talks about this cartoon. And I have to set me just because of this. So they're forgotten cartoons, or actually are entertaining, not bad, or maybe questionable, but sometimes they don't really deserve to be forgotten. And this is the segment I like to call Forgotten Cartoons. Forgotten Cartoons focus on specific cartoons that we just don't know why they just let go, never get a second chance, or no one really talks about it. But I do have rules. Rule number one, the show has to sort of be 2 to 1 season, maybe three, can cancel. Or rule number two, a show could be very popular, but for some reason just got forgotten and nobody knows why. Rule number three, the show could be popular in a different country and it still is, but it never was popular here in the United States. Or it also depends on sort of such a matter of the cartoon because like Poorly Drawn Lines. Because nobody knows how many seasons Poor Drawn Lines actually would have because it wasn't really confirmed the show was canceled. Not till I found an article confirming, yeah, this show is actually canceled. It only lasted 1 season, but of course, this is sort of interesting that Poor Drawn Lines actually have two cartoons. One made for Comedy Central only lasted for 5 episodes because it was sort of a special, and the second cartoon we're talking about is the FFX a cake version of season one. And I have to say, when I saw this, I just felt sort of a love for this cartoon. It almost feels something like regular show, but more laid back, less rock and roll, more just kind of chill vibe. But you still have sort of assertive, crazy, over top kind of ideas, but yet you really like the characters and how they sort of emotions they give out. Even you focus on 3 characters, even the animation is sort of kind of simplistic, but it works. It gives you that sort of vibe that anything could happen, but at the same time, it's sort of basically normal, something like regular show. Of course, Poor Drawn Lines is sort of more interesting that it actually was based on a comic back in 2013 that we have about 1,000 and some and counting strips. Yeah, this is a comic book strip that have so many different jokes you could reuse of this show. In fact, I'm so sort of surprised they decided to make a cartoon of a comic book strip because it's sort of infamous to make a cartoon of a strip because they only have 4 panels per page and make it a show of that is sort of hard. I mean, it's not possible. You have Garfield, for example, or Heathcliff that you could actually make it, but usually companies want you to bundle it or add something else or give something more to it to make it work. Luckily, Poorly Drawn Lines has continuity, but it's one of those continuity that you really don't need to know it or actually read the very beginning. You could choose whatever chapter you want. You will not get lost because usually you just focus on one character. But this time, this show decided to focus on 3 to 5 characters, usually just 3 main characters called Ernesto the Green Bear, that he is sort of the Mordecai of the whole show, but he's not the main lead. He's sort of the conscience of the group sometimes. If you kind of pet his ego a little bit, he basically do whatever you want, but at the same time, he's just a chill guy trying to figure out how life actually works. I mean, sometimes he doesn't really have control. The second lead is actually Kevin. Kevin is the type of guy if you live alone, something happens because he did something he shouldn't have, or open a door to a different dimension, or something completely random that he doesn't have control with it, but he just rolled with it, trying to figure out how to get out of. Even though all his friends keep telling him not doing things, and that is sort of interesting. He's kind of fun. He's not like the level of Rigby, in other words. He's not that kind of annoying. He just sort of things happen to him. It's just sort of outrageous. You also have our final character called Tanya. Tanya is a tougher character that she has so many kind of pet projects, something's going on that she doesn't want to have control or responsibility, and she sort of avoids it to be entertained by something else. That's another girl who have too many things on her plate, but once again, she just tosses it all up on the side just to have fun. But once again, all this trio are basically very entertaining. You do have two more other characters called the cat, that he is sort of the asshole of the friend group who reappears randomly on the episodes, but he doesn't appear every single episode. He's sort of the sarcastic type of character. And you have our final minor character, Turd, who is sort of the weirder entertainer that he appears out of nowhere. It depends which episode you see. But once more, it's just sort of a random gags that Turtle reappears and just throw a joke or his hobby. Anyway, that's basically the whole cast of the whole series. And I have to say, not much about this show that it's sort of hard to explain. It's sort of life lessons, trying to grow up as sort of the city and see those weird, strange things that's sort of hard to explain in the city. Like one of the episodes, you found a bicycle who is maybe possessed, maybe it's magical, but we just don't know because one of the characters want to use that spot for a parking spot, but it has the bike, and somehow they get this weird adventure to stopping this evil bike to destroy them. Once again, this show is sort of absurd, something like regular show, but yet kind of endearing and something sort of charming. But to be fair, it takes a little while to actually get there. I mean, the first couple episodes, you're not sure what you're trying to understand what's the chemistry. It took about maybe 4 or 5 episodes for me actually really enjoyed. But of course, each episode is like 10 minutes long. In fact, the whole season is just 10 episodes, so you could probably watch it in 2 hours. But besides that, do I recommend it? I have to say yes, because it has this sort of weird charm to it that you just like it. It's not at the level of regular show that's sort of action packed, sort of craziness. It has the crazy moments, but the crazy moments feels like, yeah, this is normal. I think one of the episodes is they actually talk to a dragon and a giant robot duking it out, and the group just feeds them to power up, but they use them as sort of like cooks in a way. The robot and the dragon pay them off for food because they need to recharge. But that's sort of completely random happened. They was just not doing anything, and just out of nowhere, a robot just reappears and needed food, and they just kind of got confused. They just went with it, and that's the best way to describe it. It's just sort of very absurd, charming, kind of chillax. It's something you could put on the TV. You watch a few episodes and smile. That's the best way to describe it. Of course, I did admit the show takes a little while to figure out how to make it work. It took about half of the season. The only problem I have with this, yeah, I wish there was sort of a 20 season episode, because each episode is just 10 minutes. It's sort of weird that a company just asked for 10 segments instead of 20, because this show really, at least the first season, really needed the 20 episodes. The more episodes you have, the more understanding you can actually do with the characters, understand the chemistry, because this show tried to build certain continuity. They have 1-2 specific episodes that if they get season 2, they explore more like the backyard. Like the final episode, they all three of them go to the backyard to procrastinate, but they find like a city, a fallen city with a goddess there. It's a lot of weird stuff that happened in the final episode, but they basically like building up to something that maybe come back for season 2. Something very absurd and funny, but once again, they don't have only 10 episodes. They got season 2. They probably got back to it and make it more funny and more interesting, because you do have a lot of side characters who are very likable and funny. But once more, you could do so much only for 10 episodes under 10 minutes. But yet, I kind of still recommend it. It's sort of a shame this show never really get it a chance, because how weird and chillaxing it really is. It's something that if you like regular show, I recommend it. Of course, you understand it takes a while, but at the end, it sort of is worth it. In fact, let me ask this question: Have you ever heard of Poorly Drawn Lines, the comic or the cartoons? Oh, this is the first time you actually seen it. Tell me down below, let me know. I got nothing else to say, just thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and have a wonderful day. Bye.